This tutorial will help you to complete the assignments for homework number 2. So let's take a look at the first one, the Pythagorean Theorem. So for these questions, you're going to have to choose one of our manipulated formulas, either the square root of a squared plus b squared, or the square root of c squared minus a squared. So let's take a look. Here's our first question. It asks us to find the length of the third side. First thing you always do is label each side. The first is the hypotenuse. It's across from the right angle. The other two are the legs, or A and B, and it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B. Now, if you know the hypotenuse, then you're missing a leg. The original Pythagorean theorem has the two legs on the same side. So if one of them is going to remain a variable, then you need to use the subtraction formula. That's this one here. It will help us to find that missing leg. Fill in your values and put this entire expression into your scientific calculator. So 17 squared minus 15 squared. So when I use my calculator, I square root 17 squared minus 15 squared, and I'll get my answer. For us, it's a nice round 8. So I type that in here and click submit. Now sometimes you have to round your answer. Right? Let's take a look at this question here. In this question, when I label my sides, I have both a and b. So that's an addition problem. So a squared plus b squared, the square root, would be equal to c. So let's fill in our values. 12 squared plus 5 squared equals c. 12 squared plus 5 squared goes into your calculator all in one step. Square root of 12 squared plus 5 squared equals 13. So I type that here into my response and click submit. Alright, let's take a look at the second lesson. This one is also the Pythagorean theorem, but you have to draw the triangle yourself. So watch what we do here. We're going to graph a right triangle using these endpoints from our hypotenuse. So we need to draw the legs. So click once at one of the yellow dots, then drag your line horizontally or vertically to create a leg. Click a second time to draw the line. Now we're going to do that again to create this vertical up and down leg. Click once, and then after you move your mouse, click twice. Now we can answer the question. So they told you the points up here, and although they're important, what you really want to do is count the boxes down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a lot faster. That leg has a length of 6. 1, 2, 3 over here on the vertical side. So I know both of the legs, so that is an addition problem. 6 squared plus 3 squared will give me my missing hypotenuse. 6 squared plus 3 squared will give me my missing hypotenuse. So clear this out. Square root 6 squared plus 3 squared, and round to nearest tenth. 6.7. So we had a 6 for one leg, we had a 3 for the other leg, and our calculated answer was 6.7. That's it for part 2. Alright, the third part is something old that you need to review for the final exam. It's how to solve a system of equations using the elimination method. The elimination method is an algebraic solution where you add or subtract these two sentences together to determine both the x and y answer. Let's take a look at our first question here. You need matching coefficients, but in addition to matching coefficients, you need opposite signs. If you don't have opposite signs, you take one sentence and multiply everybody by -1. That changes all of the signs, even the answer. I'm going to leave my first sentence the same. I don't need to manipulate it because I have exactly what I want, which is matching coefficients with opposite signs. That's called an elimination. Now I'm just going to combine like terms as I move down my equation here. Divide both sides to isolate my variable, and I got my first answer, which is the y value. Now I need to find my x value, so I'm going to use the erase and replace substitution method. I'm going to use my first sentence, but it doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to erase the letter that I know, which is y, and replace it with the value I discovered, which is a 2. So that means my new sentence is 6x plus 8 equals negative 46. Subtract 8. 6x equals negative 54. Divide by 6. And there's my final answer. Negative 9, comma 2. So enter that. Negative 9, comma 2. Now sometimes when you use the elimination method, the problems already have the opposite signs, like this example here. And when that happens, it's a lot faster, because you don't have to multiply by negative 1. You simply eliminate the variables that are opposite, and then here, all you have to do is divide both sides by 3 once you get your answer to 47 minus 32. And when I divide both sides by 3, I get my first value. Remember, there are 2 answers to a system. Once you get that first answer, erase and replace. I'm going to use the first sentence again. I'm going to erase the letter y and replace it with a 5. So 9x plus 20 equals 47. Subtract 20. 9x equals 27. Divide by 9. And I get my second answer, which is 3. So now I can type it in here. 3, 5. So this is one way to solve a system. It's called the elimination method. Your last assignment is to solve a system using the substitution method. Now substitution is what you were doing before. You erase and replace. So if I know that y is equal to 8x, which is what this says here, I can erase the letter y in the other sentence and replace it with an 8x, giving me this value. Simply solve your equation by using inverse operations and then when you're done, erase and replace. I'm going to take this and replace it for the letter x. So instead of y equals 8x, I can say y equals 8 times negative 5, or y is equal to negative 40. So my answer is negative 5 in the x coordinate and negative 40 in the y. Negative 5, negative 40. And that concludes the video for how you solve the problems on homework number 2.